Hi, welcome back or welcome to my channel. It's Sunshine Lorena and I'm going to be wrapping up my reads from March. So guys, March is over thankfully, because honestly it was a terrible reading month, and I feel like I was not the only one. I feel like several people in the bookish community in March just had really bad reading months. I started off with a major slump in March, and I didn't finish my first book until like about midway through the month. In the end I did manage to end up reading 7 books, which actually, you know, I pulled it back in at the end, but yeah, it was such a slow reading month. No 5 stars. But yeah, like I said, I just felt like so many people in the bookish community were struggling in March. It was just like everyone seemed to struggle, and yeah, that's fine. I can't always have fantastic and perfect months, so you know, it is what it is. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm just going to take you through a quick few stats. I will timestamp, so if you want you can jump ahead and get into the books if you're not bothered about the stats. So yeah, let's just get into it. So like I said, there were 7 books that I read this month, and majority of them appear to be mysterious, which makes sense. Emotional, light-hearted, reflective, dark, you know, the usual kind of themes of books that I seem to be reading. In terms of pace, it was majority of medium pace this month, and I would say so. How am I reading one? I'd say it's medium paced. In terms of page number, this month I didn't read any that were over 500 pages, but I read one that was less than 300, and then 6 that were between 300 and 499 pages, so not too bad. I did not read any non-fiction this month, but I have been doing not too bad this year compared to last year, so hopefully in April I'm going to pick up some non-fiction, because I'm trying to vary my reading genres, so you know, we do try and pick up some non-fiction in April. In terms of genre, mystery is the most read one. Like I said, there was a lot of mystery books this month. Contemporary is the second most read, with magical realism, thriller, short stories, romance. In terms of format, I actually read quite a few physical books. I read 4 physical books this month, and the other 3 were ebooks. No audiobooks this month. I had some where I paired it with a book that I was reading, but I didn't read any just audiobooks this month, which I have not done in a long time. I need to get back into that habit of having an audiobook on the go, because it's nice to like fill time when I'm cooking and cleaning and stuff, so I need to pick that up again. In terms of star rating, I think this is the lowest average rating that I have had so far this year. So for the whole month of March, my average rating is 3.43. Like I said, there was no 5 stars. There was one 4.5, one 4, one 3.5, and then 4 3 stars. So it was pretty average reading month, but I'm just glad I got through it, because like I said, you know, it took me until at least mid-March, and honestly, if I didn't go away on holiday, I don't think I would have actually read 7 books, because that definitely helped. I read 3 books that week when I was away, which goes to show you, because when I'm usually like have time off, like I could read like way more than that. So yeah, it was just a bad reading month, but let's just get into it. So the first one that I actually finished this month was The Influencers by S.V. Leonard, and this is the art copy, but I will pop up the actual final cover. This came out in March. It was the 10th of March it came out, and this is like a murder mystery crime kind of book. I read the first book with this offer last year, so this is the second one she has written. This is, like I said, it's a murder mystery book. It is set within the world of influencers. The murder ends up happening at this Influencer of the Year Awards, was taking place on a boat that's going down the Thames, where they have the award ceremony and the party. You're immediately introduced to Maggie, who is a true crime blogger. But she isn't yet big within the kind of influencer scene, but she managed to get an invite to this event. And then you're also introduced to some other people who turn out to be key players within this murder mystery that is going to happen on this boat. So shortly after the winner of the Influence of the Year is announced, she's actually found dead on the boat, and it's very suspicious circumstances, and people believe that she's been murdered. The problem is that it's going to take them a couple of hours before they're able to get back into London and off the boat. So Maggie, and with a little bit of help from Reese, another big influencer in the boat, and supposed friend to Stella, who is the murdered influencer, they begin to do some investigation of their own. And I don't really want to say too much else from the plot, but yes, amateur sleuths, which I love. I love a good amateur sleuth. And yes, I love the setting of this. I liked how it ended up in a close, the murder happened in a close setting, so you are very limited to who it actually was. And obviously the murderer didn't have a way off the boat, which is why they started to interview people, try and find out whilst they were still on the boat, because it was a very limited time they had to try and find who it was. And can I just say that twist, I did not see coming. It was the same with the Islanders that she wrote last year. Again, the twist didn't see coming. So yeah, really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. And then the next book that I finished in March was 9 Lives by Peter Swanson. This was an arc that I got as well, and it came out in the beginning of March. So in this one, 9 people receive an envelope with a no return address. Within it is a single sheet of paper and a list of names. The only name that they recognise is their own. It'll be the most life-altering letter that they will ever receive, and one by one they start to be killed off. And will the detectives work out who it is before there will be none left? So this one, I thought it was a good thriller. It's a play on And There Were None by Agatha Christie, and I actually loved that book. And this one ended up giving it 3 stars. It was my first Peter Swanson. I did enjoy it. And you know, because he is a big name, I was expecting a really good solid thriller. However, this ended up being more of, like, I would say, a murder mystery rather than a thriller, which wasn't what I was expecting. Like I said, I did love the nods to Agatha Christie's And There Were None in this book, because there's quite a few throughout, so if you've read that, it's nice to see those moments throughout the book. Yeah, I thought it was good, a solid murder mystery. Like I said, it didn't quite meet my expectations of what I thought I was going to get out of it, but I still thought it was good. For me, I felt like there was too many POVs within this one. I felt there was too many POVs to kind of keep up with the different characters, like who's who, like the different stories. There was like a lot going on, and which kind of brought it down slightly in terms of rating for me. And the thing is, I would have liked there to have been some chapters from the killer's perspective, whereas there wasn't, because I think that would have brought like an interest dynamic to it. Yeah, overall I still think it's a good murder mystery, and I would definitely recommend it for you to pick up. The next one I read was Love Lockdown by Beth Reekles. Again, this was an arc that I got in February, but I hadn't read it until March. But yeah, so this is from the author of The Kissing Booth, which I haven't read, and I haven't watched The Kissing Booth on Netflix, which I will do it. So this is set in London, and it's one Sunday before there's national lockdown. There is a building with 5 flats in it, and they all wake up, and there is a letter posted underneath their like kind of door that the building is being locked down because somebody's found to have a case of coronavirus. In this letter, they're told that the building can be locked down for 7 days, and that no one is to leave or come into the flat. Within the building, there is various different kind of dynamics and situations within the relationships. So you have one where there is like a one-night stand who gets stuck, so they get stuck together for an entire week. You have one where there's a couple who've just been dating for like a month, and the boyfriend gets stuck. So they've been together a really long time and they get stuck again for a week. There is the other one where they've got a longer term relationship, and where one of them gets kind of trapped outside and the other one's stuck inside because the other one had went to go and see their parents. And then the final kind of dynamic is that there is a group of, like, it's like a bridesmaid like wedding preparation weekend they were having. So the maid of honour was hosting this for them to do preparation things for the wedding, and then they all end up being stuck together there, which is like a 1-bedroom flat, and there's like 5 of them. And yeah, so will they all survive the week was the question. I thought that was just a good solid story. I ended up giving it 3 stars. I like seeing those different dynamics of relationships. I felt like it was a lighter side to like the pandemic. It was before the national lockdown as well within this world of the book. But I thought it was definitely a lighter side to explore of how things happened. I like seeing how the different relationships worked over the week, and how they ended up at the end of that week being put into these like close contact situations with like no escape basically. Yeah, I just thought it was really good, fun and light. And yeah, 3 stars. And then the next book is The Windsor Knot by S.J. Bennett. This one I started in February, guys, and I didn't finish it until like the 25th, 26th of March. because I was going through that slump, that massive slump, okay? It's not a reflection of the book, it was a reflection of my reading at the time. So in this one, it's the first in a series of the Queen, Her Majesty the Queen Investigates, and in this series, the Queen secretly investigates, like kind of, well, in this one it's a murder mystery. I don't know about the other books. There's another one already out, and I think there's another one coming out, so I'm not too sure if it's always murder mystery or if it's just mysteries. But she secretly investigates and solves mysteries, crimes, but no one actually knows. We're like introduced to her, like kind of a personal assistant, Rosie, who ends up assisting her in this mystery in this one. So in this one, they have there is a party at Windsor Castle, and the guests sleep over, and in the morning, one of the guests is found dead, and the police start to investigate it, and the Queen isn't happy with how their investigation is going, their line of thought of who did it and what actually happened. So she starts her own investigation to work out who actually did it with the help of Rosie. And yeah, like I said, I love the fact that no one knows that she does this. She's been secretly doing this since coronation, and no one knows. She kind of just plants things around, so no one actually knows that she does this and that she's actually the one who's solved things. It's a really fun concept. I love the idea of the Queen investigating murder mysteries. It was really fun, and I gave it 3 stars. Then I read Before the Coffee Gets Cold, Tales from the Cafe. This is the second in the series, and I have the first one here that I read in August 20. So yeah, this is the second one. It is set in Tokyo in a cafe. That there's rumours in this cafe that if you go there, you have the opportunity that you can time travel. So those rumours are actually truth. However, there is very certain conditions and rules that you have to follow to be able to time travel. You have to sit in a certain seat. The person has to have been in the cafe for you to actually meet them. You have to get back before the coffee gets cold. And there's some other bits and pieces of the rules that you have to specifically follow. In both of these, the way it's set up is you always have the people who work there, the owners that you see throughout all the stories, but there are like 4 different stories of people time traveling. It's really interesting to see people's reasons for time traveling, what they learn from those experiences and what they exactly need from it. I think they're really nice stories, and it's very interesting for people's reasons for traveling as well. I don't want to say much more than that because I don't want to give anything away of the specific stories, but it's really, I like the fact that you get to see 4 different stories in both of them. And yeah, so the first one, when I read it, I gave it like 4 stars. This is a 3.5 stars. I still really enjoyed it, just wasn't quite as good as that first one. And then the last book that I finished in March was The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. This is on the Rory Gilmore list, and I have committed to reading 10 of those this year. Last year I set myself a goal of 20, didn't achieve it, but I still did pretty well. So I cut it down to 10 to make it a bit more manageable this year, and this is the first one that I've actually finished. So we're behind in that goal, which is why I picked this one and I got that prompt out of the jar. Because yeah, we need to get through those Rory Gilmore books, guys. This one I had seen around. I know that there is the film, and I actually paired it up with the audiobook as well. In this one, Susie Salmon is murdered, and how it's set up is you are following her from heaven, looking down on her family, and to see how they are coping and dealing with the aftermath of her murder. So she sees how her family have been impacted, how friends and everyone's been impacted, and how people's lives continue after that has happened, that she has been murdered, and also the process of finding out who the murderer actually was. So like over the years, her family, her friends, they go through different life events and do the things that she never got the chance to do. But life isn't quite finished with Susie yet. And I don't want to say anything more than that. I thought it was a nice story. I thought it was well written. Yeah, it was fine, it was good. It wasn't anything kind of like mind-blowing amazing, but I still enjoyed it and I gave it a 3 star. And that's it, guys. That is all the books that I read in March. Like I said, at the end I did, pull it in, but it was a struggle for most of March. I've carried over The Burning God, and I need to get that read by the 10th, because that's when we're doing our live show. So that is like my main priority at the moment. But yes, these are all the books. Let me know if you've read any of them, what you thought of them, or if you are wanting to pick them up. Comment, like, subscribe, and I hope you see you in the next one. Bye. Contemporary. My voice is croaky. Wow. one I read was Love Lockdown by Beef.